Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about the Joker. We will probably cover a few minutes spoiler-free, maybe even a little less than that, because I don't have much to say that's spoiler-free, and then we'll dive into some of the spoilers. Spoiler-free, all I gotta say is, going into the movie, I was absolutely against it when I saw first look images. I was like, this doesn't look anything up my alley. And then when the trailer came out, it was love at first sight. But then by the time I went to see the movie, which was only basically the first day it came out, let's say within the first 24 hours of being released, by the time I seen tweet after tweet and review headline after review headline from a lot of normal people, not critics. Critics, I don't know what's up with Rotten Tomatoes. I know it was a running gag years ago that Rotten Tomatoes is an absolute joke, but it's actually gotten worse. I stepped away, and I don't have anything to do with Rotten Tomatoes. I don't go near their site. I don't give them any business, any clicks, not at all. Because Rotten Tomatoes is a joke. And it has gotten so worse. It would probably be, for the benefit if they just went under. Going back to being overhyped. So I'm about to go into the movie. People are saying movie of the year, performance, Oscars, boom, boom, it's amazing, this, that, and the third. As I'm sitting down, there's a few minutes before it's playing, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I got overhyped. There's no way this movie is going to live up to the hype. By the end of it, there's one scene in particular near the end that gave me chills as like a fan of the character. I'm a big fan of visuals and it ties into that aspect of it, but with a story that I thought was absolutely incredible, simple and not convoluted, but also well done with so many layers. And this is one thing I talked about in the trailer, and I feel like we can discuss it spoiler free because it was one of the main focuses in the trailer where Arthur was going up the stairs and he was miserable, shoulders slumped, and I said I'll have to see the movie so I don't sound like an idiot if this isn't accurate. But then at the end of the trailer, he's going down the stairs as the Joker. Now, going up and going down, it's almost universally symbolism for going up is success and down is failure. You cut them down to size. You bring someone down to reality. You go up the ladder. If you're in a job and you're getting a promotion, you're going up the ladder. Going up, rising up. Even in one of the old Batman movies or older, Batman Dark Knight Rises, Batman went up and there was symbolism there. Here it's flipped. And after watching the movie, it's 100% absolutely on purpose, purposefully done, as I suspected it might have been. And this isn't it. There's a ton of layers here that you can peel back. And I'm not even talking about try to go in and look at all this meaning and messaging and symbolism, blah, blah, blah. If you just want to be entertained on that level, you can be entertained by how many layers there are. Again, going back to the stair discussion, just how it is in the trailer where his normal life is a tragedy, but by the time he's coming down those stairs, it's like the downfall of Arthur Fleck's mental state, but for the Joker, it's his rise, so again, it's a complete reverse of what is considered normal, and that is the Joker. It's a complete reverse on how regular people are, how normal people are. Anyhow, go see the movie. That's enough of the spoiler free. It is one of those movies that is a must see, especially in theaters, and not for the big explosive set pieces, and this is as spoiler free as I can get, but for the celebration of the legend of the Joker. And if you have been a fan of this character or maybe just simply grew up with this character, I didn't read every single Batman and Joker comic book. When it came to the cinema, I was pretty much interested in every version of the Joker except for the Jared Leto Joker, but that had a lot to do with the story, and the visuals for me wasn't on point, but that Legend of the Joker is worth it, and you'll know what I mean by the time you get to the end of the movie. All right, that's it for the non-spoilers. We're going to go into some spoilers here. I do want to say, if you haven't seen it, this is your time to bounce. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you have been subscribed, double check to make sure you are still subscribed and hit that bell notification. But also, a lot of people aren't getting notified, so check back. We've been uploading a lot of videos, maybe two 2 or 3 videos a day for the last few days just to get caught up on some content that is out there that we've been meaning to discuss and some newer stuff coming out. But let's get into the different layers of the Joker in this movie. Now, I'm not going to go over some of the obvious. One of the obvious things is mental health. And the only thing I'll say to that is we don't need to always walk away with the message. And I'm seeing this everywhere. Like, you know what people should be talking about? Mental health. I'm not against it, but I don't agree with pretty much either side. People who are hating on the Joker because they think it's dangerous and it's going to turn people into psycho killers who are going to rise up against the government. And I don't agree with people who need to find a message. Let's all sit around our little nerd circles and talk about mental health and how this is. You know what? There's a lot of real life cases you can look at. If people do pull some discussions, again, I ain't mad at you, but I want to make it abundantly clear we can still go to enjoy a movie to just enjoy this movie and this character. We don't always have to walk away from it and let's talk about society and real life and our problems. When it comes to entertainment, I like to keep it in that zone of all enjoyment. When it comes to real world, we'll go to the real world. Once in a while, yeah, they do kind of provoke messages, absolutely, especially ones that are done specifically for messages. But my point is, it doesn't have to be like, oh, here's a movie, now let's find a message and zone in on that, and then let's go that direction. So yeah, mental health stuff, I think for the character, oh my God, does it fit? Is it fantastic? It's getting friggin' hot. I gotta take my headphones off. It is hot in this damn room. I think the AC's messed up. Only room here that doesn't get any air. But anyhow, everything they got with the character I think works well. The laugh, his biological mother, even his adoptive mother and his upbringing and his job and the way everything just chips at his spirit essentially. The lies he was told, how he approaches Thomas Wayne. I didn't like the idea that he was a half-brother to Bruce Wayne. The way they played it out, though, I definitely like that twist that he was being lied to and manipulated by his own mother, and it was his own mother, but also her mental illness that was pushing this forward. The dancing moments were weird at first, where it was like, okay, this is weird. I'm going for the ride. I don't hate it, but this is odd. But then you see him doing dancing moments at specific times. Early on, I might have missed some, but he gets fired, then he gets into this altercation on a train with rich, privileged little shitheads, and they're harassing everyone they come across. So anyone they run into, they're just a problem because they're pampered little shits who didn't work for anything in their life. Shithead, asshole, rich kids. They come up, they torment him, and he ends up pulling his gun, shooting them, and this is the day he got fired. So he runs away, but he stops off in some restroom to dance. Like I said, this is when it started clicking in my head. Again, peeling back those layers. This is when it started clicking that he's dancing every time he is changing with his condition, what would be the downfall of a person. This is his uprising. And each new mini succession, I don't want to use the wrong words, but it's like with each moment that the Joker part of him, for lack of better words, rises to the surface. He does these little dances. And again, I noticed it with the bathroom. And he danced once before, maybe twice. I might have missed them. But the first time it was just kind of like, oh, okay. But then when it comes to this moment in the bathroom, I started paying attention to it and thinking, shit. Each time the Joker's coming out a little more and a little more, he does these dances and it's like a celebration. And then you have him going on stage and he does that dance before he comes out, and this is the moment the Joker's coming out more and more. And then at the end of the movie, the legendary moment, which is one of my favorite aspects of the film, is the end and how it embraces the legend of the Joker for that world and for the fans in the probably to date one of the most realistic ways. It is simply incredible. And without going into that legend aspect but missing some other stuff, I just want to back it up to how they showcase certain aspects of the Joker coming out even in between his physical transformation. For example, and I'll point out just the one moment, but when he is donning the Joker, the official Joker makeup, he doesn't just go, I'm the Joker now, and put on the makeup. The writer has his old friends, supposed to be his friends, show up when he's halfway done putting the makeup on. All he has is the white on. They interrupt him. One guy's an asshole to him all the time and aided in getting him fired because he lied on him. And the other guy is someone who got made fun of all the time but never picked on the Joker. And he was a short person, so the Joker locks the door. He kills the guy who lied on him. And like I said, this is when he just gets the white makeup on and he's not fully transformed. So they have this other moment in between the full visual transformation with the full makeup. And I love that moment where he tells the guy he can go and he can't reach the lock because it's too high. So Joker gets up and he's like, you know, you were the only one who's ever nice to me. And he gives him a kiss on his head and the guy just runs out the door. Again, a nice, incredible moment with the Joker that kind of does something for the Joker instead of him just being like, I'm crazy, I'm kooky, look at me, I kill everything and I blow shit up. Because the Joker's always had groupies and always had gang members, and it's a cliche nonsense to have villains that, and the 1989 Batman movie did it. He shot his right-hand man for no good reason. I always hated that. Loved the 89 Batman. Even as a kid, I thought, who would follow a guy that kills you if you do something wrong? Backing it up again to the legends aspect, this might be a little harder to put into words, but when we have characters that are pop culture icons, in a way, they have this way about them. And when we see their stories coming to the screen, there's something there about watching that legend unfold. I even felt this with young Bruce when he comes up and he slides down the little pole and then he walks off. I know they probably put it in there as just like a little Easter egg because I remember watching the really old Batman shows with Adam West, and didn't they slide down poles to get to the Batcave or something? Well, little young Bruce slides down this pole and he's walking up and he's got it, looks like a little businessman. He's got like this nice rich attire on and he comes strolling up and you're like, okay, this is young Bruce. This is someone who's going to become the Batman, you know? We'll probably not see it in this universe. I'm mixed. I might want them to if they got a good enough story. Joker might be a little old, but if they get Batman young enough, that might be able to work. I don't want them to force it though. Let this stand on its own because they do the legend of the Joker. If we can move over to him, they do him perfectly. This part was in the trailer and I wish they didn't show it because once I saw it on the show, I knew what they were doing, or the movie where he was in the cop car and he got arrested. Now some of that is really cool because they pan out and you might miss it. I almost missed it, but he gets tackled and they show him in the back of the cop car and you know the people are going to break him out. So the people show up. So you got the ambulance that slams into the back of the cop car. The crowd, the people, they pull the Joker out. They set him on the car. And this is when he comes to. And again, another part of the Joker, maybe the final part, has surfaced. He does his celebration dance. And this is the moment that gave me chills that I freaking love. Oh my God. He touches his mouth and he's bleeding. So then he puts his blood into a smile on his face. And this bloody smile is the closest it comes to a classic Joker. And it just, oh man, it was so fucking cool. You got the people there, and again, the legend of the Joker. They're cheering, and he's doing his little dance. He's got that smile on. He turns around to the people. And I think the way it's grounded in reality is what I think helps carry it along with this vibe that you're watching, not just this origin story of pop culture icon character from the comics to movies, but it's done grounded in reality so well and so grounded. It is similar to how you get criminals, either serial killers or just messed up dudes, and you got these chicks writing them letters and you got all these groupies and people are like, oh yeah, whoop whoop whoop. It's similar in that regard, where to them there's something special about these people and their legends. It gets like that. I know back where I came from, there was this dude who killed people and buried them in his yard, and mad females all in the town were like, oh yeah, this dude, I want to get with him. And everyone on the block would just be like, what is wrong with y'all? I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? It's the same here, but it's that legend with the Joker and his groupies, and everyone that embraces the Joker, and you get this feeling that this is a Gotham City the Joker can easily conquer. Again, that is huge for a character that does not have superpowers, that is not a mutant. I know they're not going that direction in this movie, but that's all they needed to do was just hint at it. And for me as a fan that loves movies grounded in realism, for me it has a impact that other movies just can't even come close, no matter what they do and how they do it, having that grounded in realism. And that comes to the sounds and the weight of the scenes and the violence, all of it, having it grounded in almost ultra realism is what I go for. But we don't get a lot of ultra realism. I know people may think we do, but we don't. Punches still don't sound like punches. Gunshots and stabbing still don't sound. When you get stabbed or sliced open, it's just like a weird porous looking white flesh, and then the blood flows after. But we get blood sacks that get stabbed and sliced, and it's like, I'm not a psycho chopping people up. I've seen accidents that happen like just right away. I got injured at work. I had my big chunk of my arm just ripped right open, and it was this meaty white. Again, you see like the blood, it's like soaking through like a sponge or something. It's real porous, and it's real meaty, weird flesh, and it's just a split moment. You see the blood rush through that meat, and then it just gushes from that point on. Next thing you know, there's blood all over the floor. And then when my daughter was born, there was complications, so there was a C-section, and that was probably... That was something. That was something. Anyhow, I think the doctor was trolling me because he was like, yeah, stand up, look at this. And I was like, are those her guts on the table? Her organs were on the table. I don't know which organs. Maybe we could Google it together, but my baby mama's organs were on the table off to the side. It was like a little mini table. Anyhow, so I'm into ultra realism, and not for bloody gore and sicko fantasies. But this is for everything. For car chases, car crashes, helicopters, airplanes, fights, fist fights, how people get punched in the head and how it sounds, guns, gunshots, knives, and fucking nunchucks, anything and everything. Just because for me, I feel like it has more weight and there's more impact in that story. This movie, everyone's so focused on the dangerous Joker and how society's going to burn the government down, and incels, ooh, they're going to hurt us. Other people are saying, no, let's talk about mental illness. And other people are saying, no, let's talk about this. Let's blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, no one's talking about the fact that this movie is almost the perfect embrace of the legend of the Joker. That's probably one of the best origin stories, if not the best. I gotta let it sink in, that I have ever watched. And again, in my personal opinion, even when it comes to Bruce Wayne, I will say this one flaw though. I freaking loved the idea that the Joker's uprising was the direct cause of Bruce Wayne's parents being killed randomly in an alleyway by some angry poor person. Essentially, that's what it was. It could have been a working man who's sick of seeing these rich people on TV all the time with, these lavish everything. And you're not lazy. You're not, an asshole. Every day you break your back and you just can't make it, because you weren't born into wealth. You don't have any connections. The reality of it, whether it's in a movie or in real life, I mean, everyone likes to pretend like this isn't the truth, but the reality is people with money look down on people without money, and we're talking a high percentage of them. It's just a simple fact, like they're inferior, they're dirtier, they're dumber, they're weaker, they're uglier, you name it. You can just see examples of that everywhere. They either have a disgust or a pity, but it's in equal parts looking down on people. Anyhow, so random. Okay, you know what? Thomas Wayne, you got everything, right? Look at me, I'm nobody. I got nothing. I can end your shit. And he doesn't even hesitate, and he just shoots him. Bang, done. Loved it. Loved that. One of my favorite, I think my all-time favorite origins for what creates Batman down the line. But then when it came to Martha Wayne, it did look a little sloppy. I thought it was edited a little sloppy. The editing was off, like he shot her and then ripped the pearls, but it was done in a way where I saw it as, oh, don't forget the pearls. Oh, quick, throw pearls in the air. I think that was probably one of my only criticisms. It was my only wincing moment where I loved the idea so much, and the execution was just like rushed and like thrown in there quick. Oh, don't forget the pearls. Some fucking guy just threw pearls, and it was like, if that was polished a little more, I probably would have been like, by far the greatest representation on screen of Thomas and Martha Wayne being killed in the alleyway and having Bruce witness it. But like I said, they even end it with a more fantastic ending. I thought it was going to end with the legend of the Joker right there. Like just, this is his movie. This is his time to shine. Here it is. Great performance. Great story all around. Bravo. But then they go into Arkham Asylum. He's being interviewed and he's like, the girl's saying, what's so funny? He's like, oh, you're not going to get it. And then we see him walking out and he's leaving a trail of bloody shoe prints, meaning he killed her, obviously. And just that idea, man. And again, he gets down the end of the hallway. He's in cuffs. He just killed her with the bloody footprints, and he does his little dance. This is the movie where you can literally peel back the layers and get more symbolism and more from it than you ever expected just by first viewing. This is one of those perfect movies to break down and go into an in-depth analysis, especially on YouTube as big fans. Genius idea to have him do the murder in between transforming to the Joker, the legendary Joker. And then the homage with the bloody smile. That was the final moment. That was like, oh, this is it. Meaning if he exceeded this point in time, we would see the classic or something more along the lines of the classic looking visual Joker, maybe, possibly. The dancing. Every time the Joker surfaces from inside Arthur Fleck, each time he does this celebration dance, just fucking loved it. This movie is so kick-ass. And I think go watch it again if you can. If you have the time, go watch it again in theaters. Support it, absolutely. I loved it. Hands down, one of my favorite movies of 2019. It kicks ass. Oh, and I didn't say it, but Joaquin Phoenix, he killed it. He absolutely killed it. Yes, it's definitely at the very minimum an Oscar nod. And if it's not, I don't know what y'all doing, man. I don't know what Hollywood is doing. I think there's a lot of people that need to be replaced. Rotten Tomatoes needs to be replaced. Some type of awards show event needs to be replaced. We need our own little uprising of fans. I'm not going to go into that. Oh shit, there's one more thing I forgot. See, there's going to be a ton of stuff that I'm going to forget. The score was haunting. Before I went to see the movie, I saw today's paper, the local paper, and there was some idiot saying Joker movie was terrible. And I'm sorry, I'm calling them an idiot, because then they proceeded to just roast the person who did the soundtrack for the Joker. I didn't look into anything. The way this person made it seem, it was one person who did the soundtrack. And I tell you what, I thought this score was haunting and beautiful, and I have no idea what this reviewer, this critic was talking about. Talking about this lame, stupid, pathetic, yada, yada, yada score. You are nuts. This score was haunting, fitting, and frickin' beautiful. And I loved every second of the score. Every frickin' second. Now you can leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.